welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. My main man, Tyrone A. Johnson not here today. I guess we have a lax policy about actually coming to work, but he's going to try to do the show from his home, his palatial resort home in South Jersey today. Good morning, Tyrone. So sorry to wake you and bother you on a work day, but great to see you anyhow. I hope you and your family are doing swell.
Listen, this was a tough morning. Good morning to you. And this was a tough morning. And for all the commuters out there that are watching us on the SportsGrid app, watching us on Twitter, etc., live, all of you guys, I feel your pain. I made the same attempt that you guys are all doing right now.
Yeah, well, let me start off the show. If you want to participate, just chime in at any point. College basketball, of course, we're right here in the home of the Big East tournament semifinals tonight, just after 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. You got UConn still alive. You got St. John's. You got Seton Hall. You got Georgetown, right? So great Final Four now for Big East. Then you have the Big 12 playing basketball on glass, because they have a stupid jerk-off commissioner who lied under oath in a previous court case and once made a former girlfriend get an abortion against her will. But that's what you get when you hire Brett Yormark to run the Big 12. And he then announces yesterday, on second thought, it's probably better for us to actually bring a basketball court in for our guys to play basketball on. He's maybe the dumbest human being in America, and I can't stand him. So that's the Big 12, of course. And then you have what's cooking in the SEC. Then you have what's cooking. And overall, one of the at-large bids for the tournament is now officially going to come down to a one-loss Miami of Ohio team that was 31-0 and then lost in the quarterfinals of its conference tournament to UMass. So they are 31-1 now, sitting there waiting to find out if the committee on Sunday night is going to grant them an at-large bid, because they're not going to get the official bid for their conference. Someone else is going to get that. Are they going to take a 31-win team, or are they going to take a 16-loss team from a major conference like an SEC, I suppose, like, the ACC, the Big Ten, the 12, the Pac, whatever. So let me just make this very clear. If Miami of Ohio at 31-1 does not get into the tournament, you might as well scrap the tournament, because you've forgotten what the tournament is all about. It's not about let's get as many teams from major Power 5 conferences into the tournament, regardless of their one-loss record. It is about rewarding teams that had brilliant, great regular seasons, like Miami of Ohio, who went undefeated this year in winning more than 30 games.
I completely agree with that. And my biggest issue is these guys that you were talking about before want to likely get rid of the conference tournaments and expand the tournament. That's been all the talk. They might need to get to 96 teams. There's not enough automatic bids, blah, 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 even though I like it how it is. So if that's the case, you have to then weigh the regular season that much more and not just weigh one game in the in the conference tournament. To me, if you win 31 games in a row, you should be in the tournament. Otherwise, why are you actually playing these regular season games? Because before the year, you could have just went down on paper and picked your SEC schools. You could have picked your ACC schools, Big 10, Big 12, et cetera, and called it good. The reason you play the regular season is it's supposed to matter, and you're supposed to be rewarded if you have a good one. So to me, it's very simple.
Yeah, by the way, it's not even just that. It's the fact that they were 31-0. Right? Mm-hmm. Nobody else was undefeated. Yeah. They wound up ranked 20th prior to that first round loss in their tournament to UMass. And good job by UMass. Give them credit, for upending the only undefeated team left in college basketball. But to me, this is a simple one. And I see all the Joe Lunardis and all the guys that are like the college basketball experts who do a very good job trying to figure out in advance of it happening. These are the last 4 teams kind of on the bubble that are going to get in. These are the 4 teams on the bubble that are the first 4 not to get in. And I love that stuff. The coverage, I think, has been great. But let's use Auburn because they're the most obvious example. Auburn lost to Tennessee in the first round of the SEC tournament, okay? Final score 72-62. They got outscored by 17 points in the second half. They ended their season at 17-16. 16 losses. Now, do they have more quote-unquote quad one wins? Yes. Not because they're good, but because they have those games on their schedule. Miami of Ohio, because they play in a mid-major conference, just don't have enough of those teams on their schedule. But, man, they went through the entire regular season, and they did not lose a single game. And I want to be clear about this. I'm not even claiming to have watched Miami of Ohio play basketball a single time this year. I didn't have to. I couldn't tell you a single guy on that roster. But they play official Division 1A college basketball in a mid-major conference, and they did not lose a single game. If we're going to punish them now for losing a single game because they lost it in a postseason tournament and not reward those kids and that coach for going 31-0, then there's something wrong with college sports. Now, I know there's something wrong with college sports, but this one, to me, is not even a debatable argument. So for all the college basketball heads out there that are like, nah, man, you don't get it. You know, if Auburn played Miami of Ohio, they'd beat them by 15. I don't know that they would. I don't know that they wouldn't. But I do know this. Auburn is essentially a 500 basketball team with 16 losses this year. How does it make sense to anybody outside of an Auburn booster, an Austin grad, Auburn grad, or someone who has an affiliation with Auburn that, of course, is going to be subjective, not objective, about wanting them to get in? But how can you look anybody in the eye and say to someone that an argument should or could be made that a 16-loss team deserves a spot in the top 68 over a ranked team? Auburn's not ranked in the top 25, but Miami of Ohio is. They're 20th when they lost that game to UMass yesterday. How could you make an argument that a 16-loss unranked team from a bigger, better conference is more deserving of a 13 seed, 14 seed, 15 seed, 16 seed, play-in seed, etc., than a team that is 31-1, who unfortunately suffered their only loss in their own postseason conference tournament? It just is no argument to be made.
Well, they're going to go into their computer, and that's where they're going to do it. They're not going to use common sense. You just used a common sense argument, and you also understand what the tournament is. The arguments they're going to make will be based solely on quad one, quad two. They'll find a computer metric in order to most likely keep Auburn out, and also
the reason the
Ohio
tournament has become so popular is not because favorites win. It's because the underdog has a legitimate shot to win a game or two or three. And we celebrate when a 10 seed makes a run to a Sweet 16, when a Valparaiso goes to the Elite Eight, when a team that we've never heard of before, we can't find on a map, suddenly captures our attention and our imagination that this might be the little engine that makes a run that we can celebrate. Taking the 12th best team in a good conference or a bigger conference over a team that went 31-1 is, again, I know the NCAA is broken. I know college sports needs to be fixed, but I always thought we could at least count on every year in March that we get the tournament right. And yes, there's always going to be 1, 2, or 3 teams that feels like they got snubbed. That's part of it. I get that. And I know the conference gets one automatic bid, and it's rare for another team to actually, get into the tournament as an at-large bid. But if there was ever a year where we have to get this right, then the kids from Miami of Ohio have to be in this tournament, and I don't care who suffers as a result of it.
Well, no one's suffering either.
You.
All
Thank
these
you.
other teams.
Thank you.
All these other teams.
Everybody in this restaurant's cheering for me. Thank you. Thank you.
They didn't deserve
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. You see all these Big East fans in the restaurant? Thank you. I've got your back. Thank you. Appreciate you.
put Zach Branch on the Buffalo Bills on the football field at the same time with Cook and these wide receivers, and you have Branch set up in a slot in motion and stuff, and you put that speed, I want a game difference maker. DJ Moore's not a difference maker, right? He helps, he's good, right? But it's not that game changer. But to me, Kevin, they need game changers on the defensive side of the football.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I really wish I could pull out my crystal ball and predict accurately the future and, put money on it and see if I could win. But I think the answer of where we're heading is more uncertainty, and in the short term, more companies, like you mentioned, trying to capitalize on that. When prediction markets first kind of took off this past year, there was a little bit of a hesitancy from sports books.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Everybody has to develop, you know that. Think about Joe Burrow, okay? The beginning of his senior year, he was projected a 6th round draft pick, okay? And that's after playing a year at LSU. So Arch still has some developing to do, but he does have the potential to be a great player.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
This is not a probability market. This is an information narrative market, which, by the way, there are already people who know the answer to this question. So
yes.
You are not, you're not battling getting the right price. This is not math. This is who the hell knows where Taylor Swift might get.
Yeah.
You know who knows? Taylor Swift's people.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
Carton Show, Tyron A. Johnson, another work from home day. That's that woke, your generation, coming to work 4 days a week. I can't make it in 5 days a week. So it's all good, though. He gets paid for the day because he did turn on his microphone. And, a day doesn't go by, Tyrone, where I try to go out of my way not to talk about your favorite basketball player. I do my best not to, but every now and then,
I didn't know that.
The material just writes itself. And I'm trying to be a good guy, big girl. I'm trying to be a good guy here. And I'm trying. But man, sometimes it just falls right in my lap. Your guy, LeBron James, proving once again that he's the biggest narcissist on the planet and a complete egomaniac, has decided on his own, and because the NBA apparently works for him, that they've approved this, because they do have to approve it after all, that it's time for him to wear a new patch on his jersey, something that no other player has ever done in the history of basketball. But for the Lakers' next game, he's going to wear the patch you see right there, all-time leader in field goals made. Because for the first time ever, we're now putting patches on players' jerseys when they set a record that means something to them. Now, you might remember when John Stockton became the all-time assist leader in NBA history.
Yeah.
At no point did he wear a patch that said all-time leader assists. Never did it. Not once.
Oh, he didn't do that?
Matter of fact, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar set the all-time points record way back in the day, at no point did he wear a patch that said all-time leader points. Matter of fact, in the history of the NBA, for every individual player that at some point had set the record for the most of blank, not a single one of them ever wore a patch on his jersey to acknowledge his greatness. But when the king narcissist breaks a record, even though he's a stat compiler and is only breaking records because of his longevity in the league, he wants to make sure everybody knows about it. So he picks the patch. The NBA says, yes, sir, you can wear the patch. We work for you, LeBron. And he embarrasses himself. So we also found out that there are plans for other Go ahead.
Now, but I mean, he is the all-time leader.
I'm sorry, Tyrone asked me. I guess you guys couldn't hear it. How many patches did Michael Jordan ever wear in his career? That's a great question, Tyrone. I appreciate that. We checked. Never. Not a single time did the greatest player of all time wear a patch honoring himself. Wilt never did it. Russell never did it. Bird never did it. Magic never did it. Charles never did it. MJ never did it. But your guy, the most narcissistic, self-important human being on the planet, has now done it twice. And he's got more patches coming, which I'm going to show you in a second. But you said you wanted to say something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really see the problem. He is the all-time leader in field goals made. You have to celebrate your successes.
He's also
Lord
taking the
knows
most
there's
shots in
people
the
like
history of the league.
lurking. People like you lurking to rip him, so why not celebrate your successes? And he has so many as the GOAT.
Yeah, well, he's got some other patches coming later this season. And I figured since I don't want to talk about this multiple times, I'll just go through it with you. The next patch that he's going to be presenting. Do you see what that one says right there? Put it up on the screen, guys. What's that one say? It's hard for me to read that from here. Yeah. It looks like it says all-time leader, field goals missed.
Well, this one says turnovers.
Yeah.
No, the ones I see is
turnovers.
That's what I see. I see turnovers.
Oh, so
turnovers
that's
is
another
what I
patch.
see.
So he's got one patch for turnovers because he's got more turnovers than anybody in the NBA.
One for field goals made
and he's got another patch coming for most field goals missed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I see that one.
What an absolute clown. And the fact that you, Tyrone, of all people, continue to support this behavior makes me think maybe you should stay home next week.
What?
I don't know if I want to share a studio with you anymore, considering
I think
you
should
support this narcissist.
I don't believe he's a narcissist. You know what? This is what I find to be just very, very funny. You just happen to not like LeBron James. He's accomplished so much. When you have a guy that's accomplished as much as he does, why wouldn't the league want to capitalize on that? And I know what I'm going to get you for Hanukkah this year. I'm going to get you a special patch LeBron jersey so that you can hang it in your room. Hang it in the man cave.
I've already got my LeBron Hennessy. I'm good.
You got your LeBron Hennessy, and now you have the LeBron jersey, patch jersey.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You know,
that'd be great.
I could pour the Hennessy on the jersey and light a match. That'd be a good idea.
Why are you putting the jersey?
That's right.
I have no issue with this whatsoever. None.
Of course
I have
you
no
don't,
problem
because
with it.
you're a LeBron
I just
stan.
don't think it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm not a stan. I'm just a regular basketball aficionado who happens to know more about the game than everyone else in the country. But you're blessed to work with me, and it helps the show. And
You're
LeBron
also,
is out there doing great things.
You're the same guy that said Joel Embiid deserved the MVP the year he got it. So
he did.
I know where you stand.
I have the stats. I
know where you
back it up.
stand. You're like, if that white guy gets one more MVP, I'm going to be very upset about it. I remember I saw you said.
Euros don't count as white guys. Euros do not count as white guys.
I've heard that.
Now, Steve Nash, I have issue with his two. He should only have one. But that's a whole different conversation.
I don't think Steve Nash should have any. And the second one he got and stole from Kobe, I agree with you on 100%.
There you go. Yeah.
And by the
Canadian
way, Ethan
counts
made
as
a good
white.
point.
Euro
He's
doesn't.
Canadian. Yeah, I think Canadian white
Canadian
people are white
counts as
people.
white.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
European white guys
Euros
may
don't
not count as
white.
white. And yeah, that's
That's
what
right.
LeBron's doing. They did win last night. The Lakers did against the Bulls. It shows you again the difference between LeBron James and a guy like Luka, one of the great players in basketball. So Luka Doncic last night had 51 points, okay? He had 51 points. He had double-digit rebounds, and he had 9 assists. And he had a chance to stay in the game so that he could cap off the triple-double, because JJ already thought that's how your superstars behave, because he's learned from LeBron that you don't take a superstar out until he has gotten the triple-double. And Lucas said, Coach, the game's over. We're good. You can take me out. I ain't stat pad like LeBron. So Luka Doncic came out of the game 1 assist shy of a 51-point triple-double. And as the story goes, as he came to the bench, LeBron was like, why are you coming out of the game? Don't you want a triple-double? And Luka said to him, I'm not you, dude. I'm not you. I don't need a triple-double to prove to people how good I am at basketball. And then LeBron said to him, but if you got the triple-double, I could have gotten you a patch. The NBA would have said yes to it. And Luka said, I don't need a patch. I don't need a triple-double. I just want to win and go home. And LeBron said, that's interesting. I've never considered that. So there's some infighting with the Lakers right now as well. But you saw a true professional last night in Luka Doncic coming out of the game 1 assist away from a triple-double. More coming up, NFL style, after this. Craig Carton Show. Tyron A. Johnson here as well. Great to have you here. More news in New England. From the story yesterday that the New England Patriots, were partying after the AFC Championship game, and there's a real problem up there in New England. 25 guys from the Patriots had rented out a private place, so invitation only. Apparently, according to the cops and their body cameras, so it's not like a debate whether or not this did or didn't happen. When neighbors called that there was noise violations, etc., the police came just to investigate, not knowing what they were walking in on. There was a private party in the basement of a club or a restaurant that 25 New England Patriots were a part of after beating Denver in the AFC Championship game. And inside that room, there was obviously alcohol. There were also whores and strippers, some naked, some not naked.
Whoa.
Many of them were trying to run out a back door as the police came in, and they also found drugs at the party. But the thing that concerned me the most, Tyrone, about this New England Patriot party was what they found on the floor of the party room that these guys had rented out for a private event. And according to the police, I am not making this up, and it's their words, not mine, a plethora, quote unquote, of $1 bills. I want to say that again. A plethora of $1 bills. There are 25 New England Patriots. Let's agree that the combined net worth of those 25 guys, a couple $100 million easily. Is that fair to say, Tyrone?
It depends. Where they start.
25 guys, that's half the roster. I'm assuming the collective net worth is north of $100 million, maybe $200 million. These cheap Fs. Now,
what? They had a lot of ones.
You're telling me that your net worth is a couple $100 million, and you're making it rain with singles? I don't care about the drugs. I don't care about the booze. I don't care about the hoes or the strippers. If you're going to make it rain in a private scenario, you better come in 5s and 10s. You better have 20s and 50s. Yeah.
No.
You got to look. I'll tell you something else. If I'm one of those dancing girls and I got a room full of NFL players worth a couple $100 million bucks, and they start making single dollar George Washingtons fly, I'm walking out. I'm gonzo. I go get my spaghetti string top. I get my halter top. I get my panties. I get my high heels on, and I roll. Peace out, bitches. Dollar bills. What's the world coming to if you can't have an appropriate basement party as an NFL player? Single dollar bills? Cheap bastards. I always knew that about the New England Patriots. They can't be trusted anywhere.
How are they cheap, though? How do you know how many ones they had? Now, it's for my tradition. When I would go there.
You're cheap, too.
No, you go there with whatever you're.
Tyrone, you and I went to a strip club in Philadelphia years ago, and you brought a roll of quarters.
That's not true. That's not true. You go in there with your hundreds, and you break them for your stack of ones.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you just go ahead with the ones. But just because it's in dollar increments, those girls could have been leaving with big trash bags worth of money.
Yeah.
They were going to do just fine.
Dollar at a time.
They were going to do fine.
Nah, I'm sorry.
$1 at a time.
You got to bring some Andrew Jacksons up in the place if you're an NFL player. You got to.
What's on Andrew Jackson?
If a guy like Ryan or Ethan went to a strip club, I expect dollar bills out of them. If Stephon Diggs rolls up into a private party where there's hoes there, I expect 20s and 50s and hundreds. Yeah. I don't expect dollar bills.
That was for the private room.
I think Patriots fans should be embarrassed. And again, I want to be clear. I don't care about the booze. I don't care about the drugs, because they said they found a lot of marijuana there. I don't care about that. And I don't care if you have a dozen or 20 or 30 scantily clad ladies. I expect it, and I support it for the NFL. But the one thing I can't get around is wealthy guys who are cheap bastards. I can't do it. I can't do it.
No.
If you're worth a couple $100 million bucks and you want to be a tough guy and you want to make it rain in the club, you better bring something more than singles. I'll tell you that right now. Embarrassing. It's like Tiger Woods had a party. That cheap bastard that he is. Tiger Woods
What did
shows
he
up.
do?
He brings nickels. Yeah.
Nickels.
Yeah, he's
Nickels,
got a
I can
terrible
hurt somebody,
reputation.
nickels.
Yeah, he don't
They're
tip
both
good.
heavy and slippery. You
Yeah.
can slip on the nickels.
I'll tell you a funny story. Not my story, Ethan's story. When Ethan was younger, he
Ethan,
valet parked for ASM valet. And they had a big party out in the Hamptons. And they all made a couple $100. It was a big night. When he was 18 years old, he was telling me a story. And they were in a van. They were in Philip Sturtz's van, kid he went to high school with. And on the way back, the guy that owned the company, Andy Meyer, said, I'm going to treat you all of you guys to something special. I'm going to tell you what that treat was and how that story ended in a second. We got lots more to do. It's Craig and the Cheap Guy.
Well, still, even though he gave up that home run, Tom, you know the number's going to be there. If he stays healthy, who's touching that guy?
Well, you mentioned him. The only player I've interest in betting on for the AL Cy Young this year would be Brian Wu. And it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of the odds. It's a combination of his underlying skill set, where I believe he's trending in terms of his career.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I love these tournaments. I love the Olympics. I love NFL drafts. I love events. I love the UFL, arena football.
Yeah.
Dude, the sports books don't have algorithm computers for this, Kevin. They don't freaking know. How the hell is a sports book supposed to set a number for this? They didn't. Yeah. Dude, the FanDuel had USA at -5.5.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Could you see a world where Duke is upset in an ACC tournament?
The fact that they're not an up-and-down running team, half-court offense, strong guard play, dynamic inside with Boozer. I think out of all the top teams, I think Duke is the least likely to get picked off in their conference tournament.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
On the Thunder side, while they haven't had their stars totally for the entire regular season, they're still 3-4 games ahead of where the Spurs are, and that says a lot. Without SGA, without J-Dub, who's missed a large chunk of the year, Chet missed some time, for them to be still good enough to keep winning and stacking these wins, it means something, and it's actually building confidence for those others.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. Speaking of strippers, I was seeing that the Korean government brought a couple strippers in to get the troops all pumped up before they go to battle. I'm looking at the video.
I like that.
And the headline is this: the Korean government understands no one wants to die for ugly bees.
Did you imagine? You don't want to die for that reason.
Yeah,
so the last thing you see before you go to war.
Yeah. So New England Patriot players are cheap. They only tip their strippers in dollar bills. I'll finish the Ethan story, I guess, off air for you at another time. It seems more appropriate to do that than continue a story down that line. But I will tell you, New England, there's actually another story in New England. I'm loving this offseason for the Patriots. Tom Brady hates the Patriots now. Refused to send Max Crosby over there. Apparently, Tom Brady, Robert Kraft don't speak anymore. New England has not had a good offseason, but they did sign Romeo Doubs. Did you guys see that? So Romeo Doubs is going to be a new wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Did you see what number they gave him?
No.
Yeah, Patriots fans are pissed about it, actually. Romeo Doubs is going to be wearing Gronk's number this year for the New England Patriots. Now, if there's outside of Tom Brady, if there's a member of that offense that clearly deserves his number to be retired, I know he did not play his entire career there because of the year or 2 years down in Tampa following Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl. But Patriots fans are like, time out. Like, what are we actually doing here? And why is everything going south? So they did not retire or take out of circulation Gronkowski's 87. And I even double-checked this story because you can't always trust what you see online. And if you Google Romeo Doubs, New England Patriots, they have already put him out there as rocking the 87. Now, did nobody think or consider that one day you might want to retire Rob Gronkowski's number in New England? And the best comparison I have for you, and I apologize to Romeo Doubs for this comparison because it's a baseball comparison, but the New York Yankees, because they were mad at Alex Rodriguez, and rightfully so. He sued them, he lied to them, he embarrassed them, and they had every reason to tell A-Rod, we're never going to retire your number 13 as a Yankee. They gave his number to, you guys remember who? To Joey Gallo, all right? And that was a message to A-Rod how much we think about the number 13. Now, Jazz Chisholm wears it now for the Yankees, but they've obviously made it clear to A-Rod, we're going to give the number 13 out to anybody that wants it. We're never going to retire your number. So am I supposed to think that because Robert Kraft has had some kind of falling out, allegedly, with Tom Brady, that we're now going to be that petty and say to Rob Gronkowski, well, look, the fact that you came out of retirement and went to Tampa with Tom Brady and won a Super Bowl there, as opposed to coming back to us, we're now going to teach you a lesson by giving your number out to the next guy that wants it? I find that to be objectionable. And while I don't like Patriot fans, I agree with them. You can't give Rob Gronkowski's number out to just anybody. That number should be retired as one of, if not the best, certainly one of the best tight ends to ever play football. Crazy story.
You're absolutely right. And the owner is responsible for this right shortly after, I believe, after you were covering the Eagles down in Philadelphia, after Reggie White went to the Packers, there was a player who wore Reggie White's number in practice. Jeff Lurie, who's not a micromanager type of owner, came down and made the player take the jersey off in practice because they knew later on they were going to retire it, and he never was really around Reggie White. If you care about your franchise, those numbers are sacred. You can't just give a random free agent Gronk's number. That's a sign that story about Max Crosby is true. There's real beef there. There's real beef there.
Now, look, I know Romeo Doubs wore 87 in Green Bay. So I'm sure he requested 87. That's his number. But that's one of those deals where you have to say to him, sorry. So I did a little research. He's not the first guy post Rob Gronkowski to be given the number 87. So the Patriots have made it clear now to Gronkowski, we are never going to retire your number. I'll give you the explanation of that. Have you ever heard of Mitchell Wilcox?
I have not.
Neither had I. He had number 87. Have you ever heard of Matt Sokol? I have not either. He was given 87. No. Have you ever heard of Trey Nixon? I have not.
No.
He wore number 87. So the Patriots have done everything in their power to let Gronk know we are never going to retire your jersey. Now, what would be interesting is a couple years from now, when Gronkowski becomes eligible for the Hall of Fame, and he's clearly going to get in, first ballot, second ballot, whatever it is, at that point, does New England then say, we're going to retire numbers based on being Hall of Famers? Or do you think they keep up the pettiness and tell Gronk, we're never going to get over the fact that you went with Tom Brady and turned your backs on us. We're never going to retire your jersey. That'll be interesting, but Romeo Doubs is going to rock the 87 this year for the Patriots. And I agree with Patriots fans. That's not right.
I think they'll be smited for that. You talked about the sports gods earlier in the week. They don't like moves like that. The sports gods don't like when you don't treasure your franchise heroes. And New England, I know you don't expect them to have a good season next year, but they got to a Super Bowl way ahead of everybody's schedule. They should be a team that's building to perhaps another dynasty based on what they're doing. I'm now 100% sure it's not going to happen because they're not doing things the right way.
Well, it's not a dynasty. They ain't building a dynasty either. They might build a competitive team, but there's no second dynasty coming to New England. They're at best a 6-win team this year. And as much as I don't like them, nor their fan base, there's a small part of me that wants to take out the world's smallest violin and play it for Patriot fans because they know the truth. The Red Sox aren't winning the World Series. The Patriots aren't winning more than 6 games. And now the owner has a Jones for Rob Gronkowski and allegedly Tom Brady as well. And Tom Brady has a Jones against the New England Patriots. It's all falling apart magically. And I'm here for all the smoke. I can't get enough.
You know, you did leave out a team, and I don't want to bring this up, but I might as well ask you while I have a moment.
Go ahead.
You left out the Celtics. As a Knicks fan who expects the Knicks to at least get to the finals this year, 1 week into this Tatum thing, since you didn't mention the Celtics, are you a little bit afraid of them 1 week into the Tatum experiment? He hasn't played very well, but he's healthy. Are you at all afraid of the Celtics as a Knicks fan?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I were to be afraid of a team that I beat last year that isn't as good as they were a year ago. And I feel like I'm a better team this year than I was last year. I know the Celtics right now are the 2 seed. They're a game and a half ahead of the Knicks for the 3 seed. The only difference between 2 and 3 is obviously if you play against each other in the semis, game 7's on your home court if you're the 2 seed. Outside of that, not a major difference based on opponents that you'll play prior to getting to the semis. And by the way, I think the Celtics are probably going to hang on to that 2 seed. I didn't see that coming, to be fair. And I appreciate the fact that Tatum, is a gamer that wants to play desperately, and I respect that. They've also lost back-to-back games. They're now 6-4 in their last 10. And exactly what I said to you guys on this show that I'd be concerned about if I was a Celtic fan. I know it's a very small sample size, but it's happening. The Boston Celtics are the most surprising team this year. And while I think Joe Mazzulla should be the coach of the year, you lose your best player and you still dominate. And you have the second best record in the Eastern Conference. And if you look at all of basketball, I think they have the 4th best record behind Oklahoma City, the Thunder, obviously the Detroit Pistons, and then it's Boston. And what did I say to you? My concern for the Celtics, if you're a Celtic fan, is you have to say yes to the return of your best player if he's medically cleared to play. But it wasn't broke. And when he gets on the court now and gets minutes, it now disrupts what we've done as a team for 68 games, right? For 60, I think it was 68 games. I may be off a game or two there. But for 60-plus games, we had it figured out. We had our rotation figured out. We had our ball movement figured out. We knew exactly what we were doing. Now you add a great player, but it messes up the rotation. I think it actually hurts the Celtics. It doesn't help them. back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. All jokes aside, he got screwed by the trains, he claims, again today. So he did text me at 6:47 this morning. So I figure, like, if you're going to fake the funk, I get an 8:30 text. If you're really having train problems, 6:47 seems about the time I would get that text. So all good. All good.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
good.
I'd already texted Ethan, too, at that point. I'm at the train station. I would have slept in. I could not sleep in. I'm leaving. It's dark outside, and I get to the train, and I go, wait a minute, why is there no one in the parking garage? And then I quickly found out why.
Couple news and notes for you. Let's start with the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra spoke yesterday about Bam Adebayo's ridiculously garbage 83-point performance against the Washington Wizards. Before I played for you, do you think Spoelstra said, I understand why people are up in arms about it, it's kind of fugazi? Or do you think Eric Spoelstra said, I ain't apologizing to nobody for that?
Well, I thought he'd say, I understand, but we still think it's a great accomplishment.
Okay, let's go to the videotape. Let's do it George Michael style. Down to Miami we go. Here's Eric Spoelstra. Go ahead, Coach.
I apologize to absolutely no one.
Bang!
Period.
I apologize to absolutely no one. Yeah, except Pat Riley said I would have pulled you out at 70 because the game was over. So you might want to talk to Pat Riley about that. Bam Adebayo also said, it ain't my fault. He's like, I had 70 after 3. You don't think I'm going for it? Talk to the coach. Coach didn't pull me out. Obviously, it was embarrassing. It was a disgrace to basketball. And now they're kind of double downing on it. He also set a record yesterday for the single greatest drop-off in points scored in a game from one game to the next. Yeah. He was 62 points less than he scored the other night when he dropped 83. In other words, he played the way he normally plays, but he played against a team that didn't want to be a part of a record-setting night. So Bam Adebayo is now in the record books for 2 things. Second most points ever scored in a game, which I think LeBron's trying to get a patch for. And number 2, the biggest drop-off from game 1 to game 2. And by the way, speaking of LeBron, the only good thing that came out of Bam Adebayo's performance is that LeBron James is no longer the single-game high scorer in Miami Heat history. He had the record at 61. Now he's an afterthought. And now people remember the good old days as the Dwayne Wade days, not the LeBron days. So at least Bam Adebayo did us that solid, and we appreciate that. Number 2 for you.
Does it hurt you to hate that much?
No, I enjoy it, actually.
I mean, when you hate that much, it doesn't hurt you that much. It's gotta hurt you.
It actually makes my heart warm and full.
Your heart.
You know that big-breasted female golfer, Paige Sporanic? You ever hear her?
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, I like her. Who doesn't like her? She's attractive. She's a scratch golfer, and she's got cans for days. Anyhow, Paige Sporanic put out one of the great tweets of all time. Because as you know, guys like us and girls like her, you know, there's a lot of trolls out there. So Paige said, let me just acknowledge a guy that makes my day special. Because there's a guy who comments, quote unquote, great cans on everything I post. and we've seen the post. She's not lying. Every time she puts something on social media, there's a guy that reacts to her by going, great cans. And that's all he ever writes. And I give her credit because she gets it. And she's like, in a world full of hate and despair, I know that guy is always there to lift my spirits. Yeah, like, hey, Paige, you having a bad day? Great cans. Good for her.
Yes, good for her. And I feel like women like her because, you know, I like that part of the anatomy. When they know they're solid, I feel like they should always take solace in the fact that no matter what's going on, they still have those. And those are special. And don't
I got a guy similarly that refers to me as Big D every time I put something out on social media. And he's right. And I just wanted to thank him for acknowledging. Of course, his name is Bob439724CSC. But every time I post on social media, he's like, you have such a big D. And I'm like, my guy, thanks for making my day better.
You see, the reason that guy types great cans is because he's seen them.
Yeah.
Are we to say that Bob ZR27781 knows biblically or no?
Yeah. Well, he has seen photos of me, I guess, where it looks like I've got a tripod. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I suppose, when I lift my right leg and I still walk without a limp, he figured out how I'm able to do that, I guess. I don't know. Story number 3 for you is famous LSU gymnast and the girlfriend of Paul Skeens, who hopefully is pitching this weekend. Excuse me, for Team USA. There she is right there. Put a picture up, guys. Has now officially joined the cast of the rebooted Baywatch TV show. Now, look, I hate reboots. I think they're pointless. And I think that Hollywood could come up with some new storyline that's creative. But I don't hate it. I might watch it.
No.
I'm not even sure if she can act. But it don't matter to me. Bring out Baywatch. I'm just trying to figure out if that means David Hasselhoff is back to be Mitch, the leader of the lifeguards. Or if we got to get Zac Efron flexing again. I don't know. But Livy does it, Tyrone. Who's that?
Now, Hoff is an old man now. Now, I think a lot of fellas like Livy, but if you like Baywatch back in the day, Livy is missing the main attraction of that program. So are they going to change the focus? So are they going to change the focus perhaps to the buttocks instead of the front meat? I'm just wondering.
My guess is you probably get a lot of butt shots, and you get like a Victoria's Secret push-up bra or something like that. But I guess you now have to watch it to figure out exactly how they film her. That's a good point. We'll make that our homework. So congratulations to Livy Dunn. She's now on Baywatch, so I guess good looks can make life a lot easier for you. Then I want to go to Jermaine Illuminor, who's New York Giants offensive lineman, who the Giants bring back. And he had a press conference in which he got dressed up for the press conference. And I'm going to give you a little soundbite of it, right? We have it? Great. I want you to hear, someone I think even referenced how he got dressed up nicely for the press conference. And I think this is a great message to kids out there. And I guess a message he got from his mom and dad growing up. Here's Jermaine Illuminor. Go ahead.
Why you dressed up today?
It means a lot. It's something I've been working towards my entire career, and I just want to show them that it just isn't another day for me. It's a combination of all the days I've put in, all the hard work I've put in, just keep my head down and working. And I've been open about my story where I've been cut, traded, put on the P squad, cut, benched, and I've been doing all these different things that not a lot of players get to this position I'm in right now. And to me,
I'm not sure. Oh, we got to go to break. Basically, he finally made it, and his parents told him for big occasions, dress appropriately. That's awesome. to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. The winner of Douche of the Week goes to Mark DeRosa, Team USA baseball manager, who, as you know, got caught with his pants down earlier this week when he did not know that Team USA had to beat Team Italy to guarantee them a trip into the quarterfinals. And it was an embarrassing moment, but it kind of became an afterthought once Italy beat Mexico and Team USA advanced into the quote-unquote medal round. So he could have laughed at it and said, thank God we advanced. All good, my bad. Taking ownership of it. But Mark DeRosa, like so many other egotistical monsters, decided now that we've advanced and now that I've been publicly humiliated and embarrassed, I'm going to try to save face by going the other way. And now 48 hours later, pretending like it was a false narrative, of course I knew we had to beat Italy. Let's give a listen to our douche of the week.
Yeah, it's just an overly confident statement on hot stove, period, the end. And it's my fault. I felt good about where we were after Mexico. I think there's a couple false narratives out there, but no, I was well aware that we had to win that game based on all the scenarios that could take place. I mean, they went in 2-0, we went in 2-0. We knew they were playing Mexico the next day.
You can stop it right there. It just shows you again that he's lying to you because they did not go in 2-0. They went in 3-0. You did not go in 2-0. You went in 3-0 as well. And you had to win that game because they had the same record you had. So it's another example. This is just hubris. This is just ego. Like, you messed up, big deal. You advanced. It's going to be an afterthought if you beat Team Canada tonight and you advance to the semis and maybe play for a championship against, Japan, the Dominican, whoever it might be. But rather than just own it and laugh at it, which you can do now because you did advance, he's got to come out the other way and go, you guys invented it. It's a false narrative. Dude, like we heard your quote. Your quote was, I'm resting guys. I'm keeping guys off their feet. We've already punched our ticket. Your words, not ours. And that's why you put the lineup you put out there, because you didn't think the game meant anything. And now 3 days later, of course I knew we had to win that game. Sorry, not sorry, Mark DeRosa. You compounded what didn't have to be a problem after the fact into a situation where you're now the douche of the week, Tyrone.
Yeah, he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. And it's funny. These guys love to rip the media and then become the media. You're not a baseball manager right now. You work for MLB Network. You're a media member. Don't do that. Don't blame the media for what you did and then go right back to the media. If the media is such a problem, resign from your actual only job, which is MLB Network. I agree. Douche of the week.
Yeah, second story for you. For those of you that might want to go to a nice steakhouse this weekend, maybe even sit at the bar, watch some college basketball. Most steakhouses have bars with TVs up there. The folks at Roots Chris said, you can't come watch sports in our bar. I'll tell you that right now. And they have revised their dress code. You are no longer allowed to wear a hat. You cannot wear a hat if you go to Roots Chris. All right? No hats allowed. Right. Now, if you're sitting at a table, they might let you go to the bar, but that's general manager's discretion. So you can't wear a hat at a table. All right? You can't wear gym wear, no pool attire, no tank tops, no graphic tees, no revealing outfits, and no exposed undergarments. So if Kim Kardashian goes to Roots Chris, and she's got the push-up bra up, and you can see the lace of the bra under her revealing shirt, she cannot eat at Roots Chris Steakhouse. Meaning, I don't want to be here anymore. Why do you think I came here? For the eye candy, not for the steaks. So, Roots Chris,
you get
off my list. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. What do you mean you're not going to let me sit at the bar? It's already overpriced for what it is, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to pay, just let me watch the game. Shut up.
You also can wear shirts that have quote-unquote offensive language or imagery, which means you cannot wear a shirt with a picture of Trump on it. They ain't going to let you in.
You know,
that was for you, Tyrone.
listen.
Yeah.
You know, the backlash has been bad about this. I've heard people now call Ruth's Chris just an overrated, expensive Applebee's.
Yeah,
that's
it
what they
might
call
be.
it right now online.
And then last thing for you, I want to go to Kansas City, where they marry their own and they don't get over 500 on their SATs, which is why they're losing the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs welcomed Kenneth Walker into Kansas City, showed up on a private jet, and take a look at what he's wearing in Kansas City as a member of the Chiefs. That's right. Kenneth Walker decided to go to Kansas City wearing a John Madden Oakland Raider t-shirt in Kansas City. And Chiefs fans, they were like, looks good to me. You know why? Because they're stupid. Have a good weekend.